In this land, in different halls we play, calling by different names, the one who shows the way, the one who shows the way, my Lord, so what name shall we pray? Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, Syed, come and show the way, your children are here to pray, please come and show the way. Thank you. It is such an emotional time for me to be here today. I want to especially thank Sri Acharya Shyam Ramanuj, who is the spiritual leader and founder of the Sri Narayan Dham, which is here in Reservoir Hills, but it is a national and international organization known throughout the world. And today our presence here connects us not only with people from Durban, but from people in India and from the diaspora in general throughout the world. And we are indeed fortunate to be here. I am greeting today Guruji. We have among us our candidates for the election, some of the candidates. And I've asked them to come today because I want them to understand what is their purpose. After elections are gone and they become councillors, what happens? Does anything change? Does anything change? And my answer is, nothing should change. If you heard what Ramanuj Acharya said, he said he was an activist, and he still is an activist, but he is a guru activist here in this temple. Now, I believe that every one of us have an activist role to play. God has called us to play that role. I mean, how many of you here have seen God? Has anybody seen God? I have not seen God, but I've seen His actions in my life that has brought me to 51 years. Because there were so many times I could have died, but He saved me. And I've only Him to thank. Now Guruji can be very naughty sometimes. He said he never saw anybody move as fast as I move in one day in 3 parties. You know, the reality wasn't one day, it was about 2 months. But there's something that he said which is fundamentally correct, and that is, when you are an activist, you do things for the love of your community and your people. There's something in you that begins to trouble you if you are in an organization or a political party where they have ulterior motives. Motives where individuals want to gain material wealth at the expense of the people. Today, there is voter registration, and political parties and political leaders are crisscrossing the lands. They have woken up suddenly from their slumber. They're the ones that you phone when you have a problem. The councillors in this area, Reservoir Hills, in Durban in particular, you can't get a hold of them when you have a crisis. You have a problem, you can't get a hold of them, because they became councillors for the wrong reasons. When you do things because you want material gain out of it, it's the wrong reasons. And God will deal with you. You see, we are put here on earth because God is not here. He has chosen us to go out and help other people. And when you see people in pain and suffering, and people that are disadvantaged, you are there to reach out to them. That's your role. That's what God wants us all to do. To reach out to the one who needs your help, to go and help them. You don't have to sit in the temple or in the mosque or in the church 24 days, 24 hours and 7 days a week. But what you need to do is go out in the community and help someone. God has entrusted me with a role to use politics to do that. Some of us, we think of politics as a swear word because the politicians have made politics into such a bad thing. Politics, politician, comes from a Latin word called politicus. And politicus means for the people. So when you are a politician and when you are working in politics, your main aim is to do things for the people. That is what politicians were supposed to do. But politicians in the world over, and in South Africa in particular, have become so greedy that they come into this thing just to enrich themselves. I had opportunities. As Guruji mentioned, at a very young age, I was only 22 years old when I was on the executive committee of the Durban Metro Council. I was 22 years old, just came out of university. 22 years old on the executive committee, went straight there. I've been in the executive committee for 17 years, earning a nice fat salary. I went into this thing for the wrong reasons, but that's not why God wanted me. He had a time and a purpose for everything. In the Bible, it says that in His time He makes all things beautiful. If God has a plan for you, that plan will come into fruition whether you like it or not. And His timing is not your timing. So when I saw what was going on in the political parties, that everybody wanted position, they're killing each other in the ANC today, they're killing each other for positions, because positions means access to resources and access to wealth. And you become a councillor, or you become a member of the executive committee, or you become the mayor or a member of parliament. They see this as a career to them. They have forgotten the people. I believe that God is turning the clock. God is turning the clock. He is redesigning things, and it is happening. And when you look around you and you see things like COVID and all of this, why is this happening? It's simply telling us, look among you and see those that are appointed by Almighty God to come there and work and serve you. When you serve in government as a politician, you are meant to do it not for the money. And I've said to my candidates and our members of ADeC that we are not here for the money. Whether there's money or no money, it is an opportunity for us to serve our people. That's what this is all about. It is about serving the people. And that should be number one priority. You see, I like the foundation that Acharya has. The foundation out in this ashram here does great work. And my feelings and my heart resonates with the work that's done here. They go out of their way. They help people from all race groups, feeding schemes and other schemes, helping people. But there's only so much they can do because they have limited resources. The resources sits with government. Government has all the resources. In the eThekwini municipality, which we are contesting here in Durban at the moment, hundreds of millions of rands are allocated each year to NPOs and NGOs. I'm not sure how much this ashram has received, but I can tell you it's nothing. I know that this ashram has not received anything. Because the money goes to the politically connected. If you are politically connected and you are able to steal from there, then you will get the money. It's what each one can do for each other. And that's how we've lost the plot. And we are saying that when you get into government, it is not about filling your own pocket. It's about taking those resources and sharing that resources with everybody else, especially those that are unfortunate, disadvantaged. You know, God places you in government. It is such an important responsibility that you have. Because God is giving you the opportunity to use the resources that He's making available so you can take care of His people and His creation. When you look around you and you drive past an informal settlement, you go to Shellcross in the Bottle Brush area, just down the road here, If you go down here to clear estate, the informal settlement, you will see little babies running around. And you ask yourself, where do they stay? They're sleeping in shacks. 12, 20 people in a one-bedroom shack. There's no toilets. There's no water. There's no lights. They don't have a job. How do they live? If your heart doesn't start to skip a beat every time you see these things around you, then you are not an activist. You're not meant to be an activist. It must pain you. And you must be saying to yourself, I don't want to see this happening. This cannot happen. You have NGOs and NPOs who can only give you some food for a day. But after that, what happens when that food is gone? That day's food is gone. So we do not want to create a city in Durban where people live on handouts. That is the reason why we as ADeC, the first thing we want to do is get rid of this idea of race. There should be no race. You are not Indian, you are not colored, you are not African, you are not white. If you look among us here today, Guruji, we have people from different race groups that are here. I've got Karina there. Karina is what you would call a colored person, but she is a member of ADeC. She loves ADeC. We've got Indians, we've got Africans, we have one or two whites as well. So we're a multiracial organization. Because I want you to look at each other not in terms of race. We don't want this government to do that. Now to those of us who hails from India, I want to say to you that Indians throughout the world, in the diaspora, we've started from India. They have gone all around the world and they're making major strides. If you go to Britain, the finance minister is an Indian. You go to America, there are Indians in key positions in India and in America. And if you look at what India gave the world civilization. While India was eating, people in India were eating thousands of years, eating spices. The people in the West were eating the meat raw. Indians showed the world what is spices. The number zero, the digit zero. Without zero, there's no number system. The zero came from India. So there's a proud lineage that comes from India. There's great culture that comes from India, and that is shared around the world. But when we came to South Africa, and our forebears came to South Africa, that was the last contact they had with India. But they brought along with them a culture that's steeped, that goes back thousands of years. A culture that has said that this is not enough for us. That when they came, our forefathers came here as slaves, as indentured laborers. And when they came to South Africa, they created their own schools. They did not burn schools, they built schools. With nothing, they had absolutely nothing, but they valued education. You go to an Indian home today, whether they are living in a small one-room and a kitchen flat, and I look at my own life. I came out of poverty in my own life. We lived in a flat, a two-bedroom flat, and there was about 16 of us that lived there. Aunties, uncles, everyone. We came from the south coast, and we had a two-bedroom flat. But out of that two-bedroom flat, today we have got principals, we've got doctors, we've got engineers, we've got people that are all around the world that started from that two-bedroom flat because we had our priorities right. And we've come with that culture, we've come with that resilience. And not to say that we want to be selfish about it, we are saying that we want to build our communities wherever we live. We want them too to have those same types of opportunities that we didn't have, but we were able to become successful in spite of not having it. Indian businessmen today who are billionaires, they started with nothing, absolutely nothing. It's simply being resilient and saying that this is not the life we want to lead. Now, when we came from India here, our forefathers, that was the last contact we had with India. If you go to India today, you're not going to want to stay in India, because India is not our home. South Africa is our home. And when Julius Malema makes a statement that you Indians are racist, and you Indians don't belong in this country, that you Indians belong to India, and every time any political leader refers to you as an Indian, even if it is a DA member, even if it's John Steenason refers to you as an Indian, I want you to know what he is telling you. I want you to know what is behind his mind when he says that, behind those words. When he says, you are an Indian. When he says, Indians in this country, but when John Steenason says, why are the Indians being targeted in Phoenix? What is he saying? He's saying you don't belong in this country. Why doesn't he say the people of Phoenix or the South Africans in Phoenix? When he calls you an Indian or when they call you a colored, they are telling you you don't belong in this country. That is what Julius Malema does. When Julius Malema says Indians in South Africa are racist and he's referring to you as an Indian, he's perpetuating what the apartheid government has done. The apartheid government put us into compartments. So stop thinking of yourself as an Indian, but rather as a South African. Because we are South African in this country. And as long as we see ourselves as South African, nobody can discriminate against us. We've got to change people's mindsets. They need to become more like our children. Our children today are in multiracial schools. They don't see color. They don't see color. I hope there isn't anybody here who's giving your maids and gardeners water to drink from a tumble, from a bowl outside. I hope you're not doing that. What you can drink from, they must drink too. Because as a Hindu, as a Christian, as a Muslim, there's one thing that's common in all our religions. And some of you must have been quite alarmed to hear me sing some religious songs here. Because you know I'm a Christian. But the day that we are able to dismantle barriers that have been created by man, the day that we are able to do that is the day that this world will see real peace. This country will see real peace. We don't see the peace because man has created divisions. This country, the apartheid government has created divisions. And when you look at someone today, we have our own divisions among the Indian community. You want to know whether you're a Maharaj, whether you're a Singh, whether you're a Reddy, you sing Na Reddy, Need in the radio. Whether you're among the Muslims, we're busy dividing ourselves among us. God never wanted it to be that way. That was never God's intentions. And when I look at all the different religions out there, Christianity, Hinduism, and Islam, Jainism, Buddhism, all the isms you can find, the one common thing is, and that's my religion, it's called the religion of love. And all those books preach love. Go and have a look. Go and check the Quran. Go and check the Upanishads. What is the Upanishads? The Upanishads is a library of books. Hinduism is not confined to one book only. It's got a library of books. Go to the Bible. In the Bible it says, God is love. God is love. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever shall believe in Him shall have life and have it more abundantly. John 3:16 in the Bible. So, this is what our religions teach us. But what do we do? What do we do? We're busy hating one another. So the day in this country we are able to dismantle and get rid of racial barriers, that is the day we will see progress and prosperity in this country, and we will see peace. Let me give you an example. Today we have a problem with power. There is no power. I don't mean political power. I mean there's no electricity. Load shedding is a big problem. Why? Because we've taken people who don't have the skills, don't have the qualifications, and we put them into key positions in ESCOM. Because we looked at them in terms of color. We said we want people to be put there because they are black, irrespective of whether they can do the job or they can't do the job. Am I right? And today, we find ourselves with no power, no lights, because we put people there for the wrong reasons. The moment we stop seeing color, we look at people with their abilities that they have, we put them there with the skills, and South Africa has got a lot of skills. We're chasing away our young people. We're chasing away our qualified people because we are telling them you're the wrong color. So we want to be in a country. We want a country and a city where there is no color. Where color must not define us, but rather our abilities must define us. Jessica is here today and her husband. Jessica is an activist and she is in the right place because Guruji and her, they resonate in terms of their commitment to working for the community. I have yet to find somebody in Chatsworth who has the commitment and the love and passion to work for a community like Jessica does. I have the greatest respect for her. And I tell you, she doesn't do it because she wants material gain. She doesn't do it because she wants, in my eyes, she would make the best mayor. She would make the best mayor in Durban because she will not see color. She will see people's needs. And that's what happens when we put politicians into positions of government. They look at people with racial lenses. And that's the reason why the whole country is in such a disastrous state right now. As African democratic change, we are saying that when we get into Itiquette municipality, we're not going there with 1 or 2 seats. We're going in there, and this is the time that God has made. You see, when I gave up politics 10 years ago, I said this politics is too dirty. I didn't like it. It was too dirty. I saw what was going on. People were killing. I was at an ANC branch meeting in Welbedat, and in front of my eyes, somebody just took out a gun and shot one of the members from there. Remember Jessica? Shot him dead in front of me. It happened right there. The bullet just whizzed past my head. All because of the internal fight there to be put. ANC today is at war with itself. You don't know who, that's why in Durban, this time is not going to come again. God has given us an opportunity, especially the Indian and the Khalid community of Durban. Outside of India, Durban has the largest concentration of Indian people. 12% make up Indians in Durban. And if we stand together with our brothers and sisters from the Khalid community, no political party will control Durban. ADeC will control Durban. And we'll put the people first. Yeah. That is the difference. That's what sets us apart from any other political party. We are not in this for money. We are not in this for salaries. We are in this because we want to improve people's lives. And our people are crying out. They want genuine leadership. Today, the political party leaders are crisscrossing all over the country. Councillors and potential councillors are going to voting stations. And they're looking for people to come and vote and register to vote. This is what they are doing today. But the same ones, when you need them, after they get elected, you never see them. You don't see them. Many of the areas, councillors, we had crises, we had unrest. People were being killed. Over 300 people were killed. 50 billion rands in damages caused through looting and unrest. Our country became we became a showcase for the whole world. The whole world was seeing what's happening in South Africa. How we were behaving like barbarians here. Whole world was seeing it. And while all this was happening, none of the councillors were available. They were all in hiding under the bed. But our activists, Guruji, they were on the field. Somebody asked me, one DA member of parliament asked me on Facebook, where were you during this time? And I replied, I said, the one place I was not was on Facebook. I was not on Facebook during this time. I was on the ground with our people who needed us. And we moved our forces throughout Durban to go out and assist people. And we encourage people to take the law into their own hands. We said to communities, the police are failing you. You have to go out and protect yourselves. And that's what they did. And that's the reason why ADeC is standing with the people of Phoenix who are arrested today. Because if you look at what's going on, Dongenkosi Kanile, the instigator of all this looting and unrest, gets 5,000 rand bail. And in the courtroom he shouts, he makes a statement in the courtroom. He says, we taught the whites and the Indians a lesson, and the coloureds. We made them hungry. Can you believe it? That is the arrogance that these people have. And I'm in the courtroom, watching the bail hearing. Jackie Shandu is sitting in front of me, the one that we charged. We put him in jail because he said, one Indian, one bullet. Can you see the work that we have to do in this country? We need to educate people that when they look at one another, they must not see race. They must not see you as Indian. Stop allowing people to call you Indian. Because when they call you an Indian, and when they call you a coloured, they mean you don't belong in South Africa. Listen to what I'm telling you. When they create laws in this country, they create affirmative action in this country that discriminates against Indians and coloureds, they are telling you don't belong in this country. That's what they are saying. You are a foreigner in this country. Where do you stand with the Gupta? The Gupta is a foreigner. He was born in India and he came here. He wasn't born in this country. Many of you here are third and fourth generation South Africans. Why should you be called an Indian? Why is it that when you apply for a tender or you apply for a job, the same ANC will tell you today that we want your vote. They come to the Indians and coloureds looking for your vote. But when they come to jobs, they want to give you the vote. Because then they tell you that you are Indian and you are coloured. They're not looking at your ability to make the city work. In ADeC, we want to put the best people to do the job. Because it's critical that they are put there so that all our people have proper services. We will create jobs as ADeC. And we've got the plan to do it, Guruji. Our plan, and I want to share this with you, we've got what is called the VCP program, the Volunteer Community Patrollers. Durban has allocated 300 million rand for what they call preparations for unrest. 300 million rand. And their idea about preparations for unrest is to employ more metro police and to employ more firemen. So that if there's, malls are getting burnt, the firemen can go and put the fire out. You know what we're doing? You know what we're doing? We're putting the cart before the horse. We're preparing for the house to burn. We're not saying there is an electrical connection there that needs to be fixed. Let's sort the electrical connection out. You've got a connection that's sparking in your house. This government will say, this Durban City Council will say, go and get more, extinguishers, fire extinguishers. So when the house burns, you are ready to put the fire out. They're not going to say, go and fix the spark. Are you getting what I'm saying? They're not saying fix the spark. So here is Durban that's saying, let's prepare for the unrest that's going to happen again. Let's have our fire trucks so we can put out the fires. And let's have more metro police that will be looking the other side when people are looting the malls like what happened the last time. No amount of metro police and SAP can stop hundreds of thousands of marauding, hungry looters from going and destroying shops and stealing. No. So our plan, Guruji, is we want to divert the 300 million. And we will do it immediately after being elected. On the 1st of November, on the 2nd of November, I will put a resolution in the council, which is going to stop that 300 million rand from being used for this unrest preparation. And we want to divert that funds to create jobs for people in our communities who have been patrolling the streets during the unrest and who are unemployed. mostly young people. Who saved our communities? Our communities themselves. And in those communities we have people who are unemployed, especially young people. And we believe with the 300 million, we can create 10,800 jobs in Durban immediately. We will equip them with uniforms. We will train them. We will give them radios to radio the police station. And they will be the eyes and the ears of the communities. What a brilliant idea. And these are things that we're coming up with in the city. We're coming up with ideas because we are a party of ideas. We're not just a party of talk and no action. We are saying to people, you want more jobs in your city, in Durban, you vote for ADeC, because ADeC is going to create those jobs for you. Another problem that we have in the city is the exorbitant bills, water and lights bills. Our people can't afford it. And if you see the people that we see, pensioners who get about 1,500 rand a month, their bills come to 3,000, 4,000 rand a month. These people they're given the best to our society. They've given the best years of their life to our country. And now, when they are in the twilight of their years, we slap them with these ridiculous bills. There is one man in Phoenix who died. He died when he saw this bill at the rent office. Am I right, Stanley? He died at the rent office, going to go and pay his bill. We've got senior citizens, 70, 80 years old, who can't afford to pay. As an activist, it must trouble you. It's something that must bother you. And it's something that must say to you, I've got to do something about this. I can't sit by and allow this to happen. No amount of praying in the temple or in the church and the mosque is going to change anything. Unless you go out, that God is giving you the power to go out and get into that municipality and change things for these senior citizens. We will bring down the tariffs in this country, in Durban. We'll bring down the tariffs here. And we've got a plan to do it. The city spends 160 million rand this year. 160 million rand on Ushaka Marine World. Who used Ushaka Marine World in the past 2 years when we were in lockdown? Who? It was closed. So what is the need? And these councillors, all of them, don't let them come and fool you. Don't let them come and fool you. Don't let them come and fool you. I was a school teacher. And in my classroom, whenever any of my children in the back started having their own conversations, I would stop and I say, come to the front. Let's hear what you have to say. So, I am saying to you today that we will cut out unnecessary expenditure. 160 million rand for the Ushaka Marine World should be gone. That should never be earmarked. All political parties, DA, EFF, IFP, whichever political party is in the council, they are responsible for the mess we are in. Don't let them come and tell you otherwise. If the DA comes and tells you we do things differently, you tell them you've been in there for 25 years, what have you done? They'll say, but we didn't have the numbers. They'll say we put objections in the council. Those objections didn't bring the tariffs down. That's number one. And number two, you stayed in the council. Every month you collected your fat check at the end of the month, knowing that you were unable to bring about change, knowing that you could not do the job that God is asking you to do. You still took the money. So what does it tell you? You are in it for the wrong reasons. That's why ADeC says, people before politics. That's what this is all about. People before politics. I can go on talking to you. At the moment, we're spending over 200 million rands a year in the city for security for councillors and for the mayoral fleet. Now here is the best part. This opportunity is only going to come now because the ANC is at its worst. The ANC is not going to be able to have a majority in Durban. There are two ANCs in Durban. You've got the ANC that is of Ramaphosa, and you've got the ANC of Makashule. The Makashule ANC don't want the Ramaphosa ANC to win. So you don't have to worry about ANC. They're dealing with themselves. So if you get a mayor that comes in, you don't know which mayor this is. It's a Ramaphosa mayor or whether it's a Makashule mayor. You don't know which mayor this is. So they're doing a fine job. God is dealing with the ANC. Because when God puts you in a position, He expects you to use that position to the benefit of His people and His children. And when you abuse that position, He will deal with you. That's why I do not take a chance. 10 years ago I said, enough, I'm leaving. Because I don't want to get into God's wrong books here. And God starts to deal with me. Like the way God is dealing with the ANC. Now, God has opened the way for us. God has opened the way for us. The ANC is not going to get a majority. And who thought, Zuma said, that the ANC will rule until Jesus comes. He said, ANC will rule until Jesus comes. But, do you know that in the last election, in 3 metros in Johannesburg, Ekurhuleni, Tshwane and Joburg, in Gauteng, 3 metros, the ANC did not win those metros. You all know that? In the local government elections. Then how did the DA become the mayor? How did the DA become the mayor? Because the DA didn't have a majority. They didn't have an outright majority. The EFF gave them the mayorship. That is why the EFF is in coalition, in bed with the DA. Make no mistake about it. Now why in Durban, the DA has not fielded a mayoral candidate? I am the mayoral candidate for ADeC in Durban. And I'm telling you that I will be the mayor of Durban. That's going to happen. Because God is going to win it. And God is on our side. We don't need anything else. God has planned this to happen. Everything that you see is happening is all part of God's divine intervention. We are in the right place today because it's all in God's will that the ANC will crumble. But if our people, especially the Indian and colored communities, don't stand united behind us, you will end up getting the EFF as the mayor in Durban. Because the DA is not fielding a candidate because the arrangement is already, the deal is already done. The DA wants those 3 metros in Joburg, and in Durban, the DA is giving the EFF the mayorship in Durban. Do you know that? Julius Malema said it yesterday. Durban is for us. We are taking Durban. The same Julius Malema who said, Indians are racist and coloreds think they are more white than whites. Do you know that? The same Julius Malema who sees us as visitors in this country. The same Malema that's been stoking the flames of racial black on Indian, black on colored violence. He's been stoking those racial tensions. You want to have an EFF mayor in Durban? Get ready to pack your bags. Start packing from now. You do one of 2 things. You either get your families and your friends to go and vote for ADeC, or start packing your bags. Not to go on a holiday. Pack your bags to leave this country. That is the reality. Because you've got an EFF that's going to take over Durban with the help of the DA. And the DA councillors and the small DA Changamangus and Chamchas around, they don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going on. That's what happens when you are in a political party and you're a politician, Guruji. You've got to follow, you've got to toe the line. How many ANC, Indians and coloreds, and even whites today, I cannot believe, how we can get some Indians, coloreds and whites who will stand as a candidate for the ANC when it's in such a terrible state right now. What motivates them to do it? What? I don't know what motivates them.
Financial gain.
They're not even going to get financial gain because they're not going to win. Nobody's going to vote for ANC. In Chatsworth, Phoenix, Wentworth, Malin Ridge, Malin Hill, no one's going to vote for the ANC. So why do they even go there in the first place? Why? Our people, some of them, are just so ignorant. They need to be educated. They need to start getting knowledge about what's going on around us. This opportunity is only going to come once, and that opportunity is now, where the ANC will not be able to control Durban. The EFF won't be able to control Durban, and the DA won't be able to control Durban. It's going to be ADeC. That's going to be the party that's going to decide who controls Durban. We're going to be the tail that wags the dog. There's a municipality in the Eastern Cape. It's called Bito municipality. The mayor of that city is a one-man show. He belongs to one civic organization, and he has been the mayor of Bito municipality, right? Simply because the ANC and the DA had equal votes, and his vote decided who will run the city. Now the difference with Raj Bansi Guruji is that, and there has to come a time, and it's going to be in my book, I'm writing a book, where I want the people to know really what Raj did. Raj did a terrible thing. And that's the reason why it pained me to leave him. It pained me because through my darkest hours, I lost my child, my eldest son, in a car accident on the 6th of October. As you were born on the 4th of October, 3rd of October. 6th of October, my son died in a car accident. On the 9th of October is my late father's birthday. 6th of October, my son died in a car accident. He would have been about 27 years old now. And I was with Raj then. And Raj was with me throughout the whole, it took me a year to recover. And in the time of my recovery, he refused to replace me in the expo. The hungry lions, the owlers were there in the party wanting my position. And he said, no, nobody takes that. We'll wait for Visvin. If Visvin comes out of it, I was in a coma for a long time. Visvin comes out of it, that's his post. If it doesn't, we'll decide later. So some of them were praying that I would die. That's how bad it was. And so when I left him, it was a difficult thing for me to do because he was a good friend of mine. No matter whatever happens, you know, I've got this thing where I don't care who you are. I don't care what people say about you. I see the good in you. I think if each one of us looks at the good in people and leave out the bad, this world will be so much a better place. I don't want to stress about thinking, oh, Guruji has got something against me. I rather believe that he likes me and think that way about every human being. And so Raj Bansi, when I decided to quit and leave, it was shine. I did it because he did a deal with the ANC to benefit himself. He secured his garages. I didn't get a single garage from him, by the way. He secured his garages. He secured a couple 100 million, whatever. But what happened? His horse died. His horse. His mother died. His wife left him. He had endless problems, right? Poor thing. That is the reality. And when I left, it was a difficult thing to do. But I saw that he did not have the interests of the people at heart. The DA took me in and gave me a seat in Parliament, in National Parliament. If I was one of the Indians that are in the DA today, in fact, they couldn't win it. Tony Leon, I met Tony Leon last year. He still remembers. He said to me, you are the bloody Indian that stabbed me in the back. I've never forgotten that. Because no Indian, why I say Indian? Indians love money. Indians like money. Which Indian you know will give up a job that pays over R1 million a year with a pension for life? I gave it up. They were not sure. When I sent my letter in, I said I resign. I'm not going to take up this post. Tony phoned me himself. He said, Mr. Reddy, are you sure this is your letter? Did you write this letter? I said, yes, I'm out, I'm gone. He said, what is the reason? I said, I can't stand the racism in the DA. I can't stand the racism in the DA. And it's still the same up to today. The blacks and the Indians and the Khaleds in the DA are simply used as fronts. Simply used as fronts to promote white vested interest. I went from the pot, I went right into the fire when I joined the ANC. Because the ANC, from the day I joined, I was there for 17 years. From the day I joined the ANC, to now, the internal fighting has been ongoing. There's no time to talk about your communities and what community interests are. So get ready. Get ready. You know, there's something I heard one of the gurus talk about. And he said, you know, we all have goals in life. We all have goals. Some of you might go to bed sleeping, I'm a counselor tomorrow, I'm a counselor tomorrow. That's your goal. Right? Some of you have a goal, I want to run the comrades. And you dream it, Stanley. You dream it, Abed, that I'm running the comrades. Every night you sleep, you go to bed, and you see yourself not at the start of the race, you see yourself at the finish line. You see your wife there, you see your children there, you see your friends there, and you see yourself on the TV, and you are coming down the finishing line. You know, the people are holding, they're barely managing. They see you coming down the finishing line, and they are clapping, everybody's clapping, and you are raising your hands in the air, and you're getting goosebumps, and this feeling is so good. And you carry on dreaming like this, and you feel so good about this dream, about this goal, that you're finishing the comrades, and you're getting the gold medal. You're even standing there, and you're getting the gold medal. Eric, I don't think you're going to dream about that, are you? I'm not sure, Arden. Huh? So.
Dream tonight, I'll let you know tomorrow.
Dream tonight. Adrian, you might be one of those, right? That's dreaming about the end, right? The end of the race. Aslam, are you here? Right. At the end of the race. And you wake up the next day. Hey, it's the comrades. Today is the comrades. Now you can't dream anymore, because dreaming is not going to make you finish the race and get the medal and get your wife and the children to support you. So you put your clothes, your shorts on, you go find one tacky somewhere in the cupboard, old one, not fitting you properly too. You put that thing on, you go to the start of the race. 4 o'clock you are there. And the runners start to run. They're running. Your dream is you're winning the comrades and you're getting the medal. You run 50 meters and you collapse. You collapse. Can't manage. What is the reason? Too many of us dream about the finish. We don't dream about the preparation to finish. Some of you, I don't know how many of you dream about you dying, about your funeral. It's a good thing to do that. Dream about your funeral. I go to funerals because it makes me think, when I die, what will people say about me? Was this a horrible person? This man here, he had opportunities to help me, never helped me. He could have helped me, he never helped me. This one is a dog, good thing he's gone. Or are people going to say, and every time you go to a funeral and you leave the funeral, do you know it makes you a better person? Because you say to yourself, the way I live my life has to be a story that people will want to talk about when I die. A good story. A good story. So when you have a goal, and the goal is about finishing, don't only dream about the finish line. Dream about the preparation that it takes to finish and get the medal. So many of you are dreaming now, I'm waking up on the 2nd of November and I am a counselor. Some of you don't want to wake up. You say, I'd rather just sleep. I'd rather take Panados and sleep one way, you see. One way will sleep, wake up on the 2nd, then they will say, I am counselor. And you know what's Guru? I'm finishing now.
No.
Yeah. like the Guru called some people and to the temple on the 8th of May. And we were here at the temple, right? And some counselor was there. I didn't know he was a counselor. I think his name is Sagar or Sagar Singh. Yeah, Sagar Singh. The fact that I don't know, I am a person who is on the beat. I have my finger on the pulse in this community. I know what is going on and who is doing what. The fact that I don't know who this person is will tell you what kind of a counselor this is. I didn't know who he is. But go in Durban, Go to Amlazi Kwamasho. Ask them if they know Visvin Reddy. They will tell you yes. Yesterday, we went, somebody, where is Neil? Now yesterday we went, Neil and myself, we went to a house. The person wanted to register. So as we got there, this lady came out and she didn't expect me to come. We said we'll take them ourselves, let them see me. And this lady comes out from outside, they're wearing a sari, like, you know, looking something like you. Yeah, she came outside and she said, hello, is that Mr. Reddy? Mr. Reddy, Mr. Visvin Reddy. And she ran, she said, Mr. Reddy, she went back and she said, Mr. Visvin Reddy is here, Mr. Visvin Reddy is here. She's shouting. I said, no, it's okay, come, let's go. We went inside our house. Then we sat down. And she said, Mr. Visvin Reddy, I'm a mental case. I said, what? Why? Why you say that? Now she's a mental patient. She's really a mental patient. And she's schizophrenic and she's got all this. So I said, you know, I feel so good. Even though you're a mental patient, you still knew who I was. So I'm saying this to you as candidates today, how easy it's going to be for you to market someone who a mental patient knows. Right? And she said, she's voting for me. She said, no. I said, no problem. But she had a problem, and we dealt with the problem. So, you don't just wake up and say, I've become a counselor. Now, Sagar Singh was here. I don't know who he is. Many of us don't know our ward councillors. They're non-existent. That's why we have a code of conduct for our councillors. And they will sign that. They've already signed it as candidates. If they don't respond to the community, if Guruji calls them and they don't come here immediately on the turn, they will resign their seats. Each one will sign a resignation letter, undated. I'll put that in the council. When you decide, you think you become a superpower. That's what happens. People think when they go to the ballot box is like got some special muti there. There's a special muti in the ballot box. A person who is known as an unwise person. In other words, the village idiot. Somebody who drinks in the bars. He sits and talks all measure of nonsense. But when he goes to the ballot box and the next morning becomes a councillor, he now becomes a very wise man. And then he gets invited to come to the dam here in Reservoir Hills and to come and give some wise words. But before that, he was just a village idiot. I don't want you to be that. I want you to be with the communities now. For the 10 years I was not in government, organizations invited me to come and give discourses there. Although I was not in government. Because people wanted to hear what I had to say. So, in the same way, you need to make an impact in your communities. Because that is not something you're doing for a job. You're doing it because God has positioned you to go out there and assist your communities. Yes. Let's help him take out the thing from his eye, please. Are you okay now? So, I'm concluding by this. Our preparation for the second, when you become councillors, has started. The comrades training has started. The training where you're going to burn the midnight oil has started. You can't run an 86-kilometer race if you can't make a 10-kilometer, or a 20-kilometer, or a 30-kilometer, or a 50-kilometer. And then you take on the 86 kilometers. That's how it works. So in that way, you need to be mobilizing people on the ground. I've given you the tools. I told you what the issues are that our communities have. Let's reach out. Let's get every single one of them to firstly know what ADeC is all about. Secondly, to know that their future and the future of our children lies in their support for African democratic change. Thank you very much. Thank you, Guruji. I really appreciate being here today. It's a real honor. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Guruji, thank you for this opportunity to have us here, and you're welcome in your hospitality. Good day, everyone. Good day, everyone that's watching online as well. We as ADeC have a team of activists, and I want to stress that everyone here is activists. They are involved in community work. They put people first. They have been doing community work before they got involved in our organization. So even when they are elected, their prime and core responsibilities will be to our communities. It's because they have a passion to serve the communities. It's because they want to see the communities uplifted through ADeC. The plans that we have in place to uplift our communities and create new jobs can only be done with all the united efforts, with all the united voices, and the biggest protest you can make combined. The Indian, the colored votes on 1st November will be the biggest protest you can make. Only when you vote for ADeC, then only can we bring change and afford all our communities the upliftment they rightfully deserve. One of the things that we are totally against is the government putting racial issues ahead of the needs of the people. And you will see it blatantly in all your applications in the Home Affairs, in other institutions and organizations. And we are saying we should not see the color of the person's skin, but see the person as a human being. So we don't look at color when it comes to things like that. And the government shouldn't either. So we want to abolish affirmative action. We want to do away with, we want to say it's a regime of apartheid.
Yeah.
It needs to be gone. Many of our activists, speaking for a few of the people that I know here personally, they've been involved in community activism for many years, for the past 10, 15 years, serving the needs of the community, poverty alleviation, attending to service delivery issues that even our local councillors can't even attend to. We have gone the extra mile and resolved these issues, not because we want fame and a name. It's because we see our people suffering and we want to be there to lend an helping hand. So every single person there, thank you so much for your time. We would like to invite Ashram Kudoos next.
Ashram is the secretary of ADeC really.
Ashram is the secretary of ADeC. Thank you.
Namaste, Vanakkam, Assalamu alaikum. I'm a Muslim of the Sufi tradition, the same tradition that you have espoused to us. I've been to India in 2011, go to the Mazars in India. We have the same ideology, as Guru has rightly said so, that we believe in love or hate none. And what our organization is similar to that. We help people of all color, of all races. We want to bring a new dynamics to politics. A lot of people tell us that politics is dirty. No, politics is not dirty. We want to make politics clean. We want to make politics ethical. We want to make politics ethical. We want to have values. We want to make sure that people are treated as human beings. That's what the main message of ADeC is, that we want to treat you as a human. We don't look at your color, we don't look at your race, we don't look at your religion. I live in Albania Heights, and I brought up with a variety of people. Telugu, my name is Tamil, I wouldn't change him for a million years. I've got Christians, we've got colors. Albania Heights has become a very nice suburb to live in. We have such a diversity of people. We have humanity. I was telling in Visvin that on the time of the looting, we never had one roadblock. Not one road was sealed. Reason being because 40% of our people in Albania Heights are African. And they said, Ashram, we are going to protect you. So we need to go into the new dispensation where we live as humanity. We live as one people. And what my president said is quite true. We need to get away from the different ideology of colored, Indian, black, white. We are South Africans. If we have that ideology, we can make South Africa a great, great country. We need to espouse that. We need to look beyond our color, we look beyond our race, or beyond our religion. India was like that. India is one of the greatest democracies in the world. We need to take that tradition of India, bring it to South Africa, and let's look as humanity. Thank you.
Friends, Guruji, thank you very much for this opportunity. Like Guruji mentioned, God is omnipotent, God is omniscient, and like our president has mentioned, I basically joined ADeC because 27 years, failed promises, service to mankind is service to God. And I was comfortable. I was a career policeman and I was comfortable. But God spoke to me and I left my secular employment 21 years ago. And I have the same urge and same unction like many activists here to serve the community. And I live in Phoenix and like the president has said, if you are a pensioner and you're earning 1,800 Rand, how do you put up with high utilities bill? And like the president has also said, the Tequini billing system has collapsed. When we go to the Sizakala Center for assistance, the people just ignore you, And basically, I've joined ADeC to make a difference. I think, like the president has said, it's our season now. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, when the righteous rule, the whole community rejoices. When the wicked govern, the whole nation mourns. So I think it's our season as ADeC now, as activists, to do some seva for the community and people first before politics. The country is in disarray, and I think, like Guruji will agree as well, we passed Kali Yoga now. Troubled times. So, my encouragement to the House is trust us, ADeC, for making a difference. I remember this area when I was a young man, I used to walk beat all over here. Okay. So, trust us. I myself want to put something back. I've seen the old, I've come to the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and God has sustained me thus far to make a difference. And I think with the team that we have, we will go to City Hall and we want to make a stand and make a difference. Thank you.
This one is Abed.
Good day all. My name is Abed. I've admired the Guru for what he was speaking about, and he spoke about town. I actually worked in town as a young boy. We used to sell fruits and vegetables on boxes. And what Guru is saying is, Guru has been a streetwise person, and I admire him to be where he is. And let me greet you all. Namaste, Vanakkam. And I start Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, with the name of Allah, most merciful, most beneficial. I come from a family that is, both my grannies were non-Muslim. My mother's mother was a Telugu. My father's mother was a Hindu, was a Singh. We thank all of you for welcoming us to your organization. We appreciate being here, and before I continue, we would like all of you to speak to your families and friends that live in our vicinity, in our jurisdiction of our areas of vote, to please give us the vote. We have a leader which is very honorable, and I joined the leader because I saw a lot of qualities on him that I also have those qualities. I'm just going to give you an example. Sri knows me well. I served in the missile carrying warship, which used to be called Strikecraft. It was the elite warship of the South African Navy. I started as a young boy, as an apprentice. We became into electrical engineering. Then I began to teach. One day I had a friend who I had to take him onto the switchboard and teach him about the ship, the electrical engineering. He was my best friend and I failed him. And I told him, I said, you know what? When none of us are going to be here, you will not be able to synchronize the generators and get the ship running. And he appreciated that. Guruji, we have a lot of values, a lot of morals that we're going to set. And I appreciate we've come here to you. You have actually lectured us. And I sat and I've listened attentively to you. And I also appreciate the bhaja playing because I was watching Srini. I know Srini from a long time. He's also in mechanical engineering, I'm electrical engineering. I also have a bhaja. And the tune that he was playing, I trained with the Guruji in Carlisle Street. But I'm still learning. Guruji, we are going to go out there. We're going to give our best. We're going to give our best to all the peoples of South Africa. We are fighting the corruption, but what we're really fighting and what my leader has said, Visvin Reddy, it touches us. It strikes a chord. When you look at the high billing that you pay for services which you don't use. So this, what do you call this? This is theft and fraud. If I owe someone money, they will certainly take me to the credit bureau and make my name bad. So with our leader, we are behind our leader. We're setting the standards. We want to up the benchmark. We are a young group of people. Many of us are new. I myself am new in politics. I haven't been in politics now as a formal, but I've been an activist all my life. From the time I was young, I've been an activist. I even stood and fought for people. I put my life on the line because of being an activist. And where I see you coming from, I really appreciate you and I learned a lot from you. And hope your supporters appreciate this because it's very hard to get a person like Guruji with that knowledge in the religious field. And Guruji is also streetwise. They come from both the outside and the inside. So as ADeC, the African Democratic Change, we are endeavoring to improve your lives. But what you need to do, you need to give us your support, put us in council, because as Visvin, our leader, the chief, has always mentioned to us, we cannot attack or change things from the outside. We have to be sitting inside to sort things out and change things. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
It is Guruji and to everybody that's gathered here today. And thank you for welcoming ADeC and being the youngest activist in ADeC and the vision that we share. So when the chief activist that we address, we do not say president. So our chief activist, Visvin Reddy, has called me and said, this is what ADeC stands for, this is the values, and it mirrors to my vision of what I want to do for the community. And as Chief said, he retired from politics and became an activist. And just by Chief's vision, Chief's messages, yesterday when we went out to our voting stations, I had the community speak ADeC, and this is something that Chief did say will happen. So we call him our ADeC Sangoma as well. I went out and the community asked me, do you need protection for campaigning? I said, what protection will I need? They said, don't you need a security guard or security team? The community, I said, we will protect you and help you campaign. Which is part of why Chief has said, as candidates going into council, we're going to say we are still activists, we are not going to be called ourselves councillors, and we do not need security guards. The community will protect you and will love you.
Yeah, yeah.
And all religions do say, love is taught by God, hatred is taught by humanity. So with ADeC, we want to say, during the course of the unrest, we were on the ground, being with the people to show them what ADeC can do. You give us your vote, you register online today, and if you do not deliver, you have the power to kick us out, not within the 5 years, at any time. And I'm blessed today to be here today. As we say, it was the super powers that has called us here today. And with everyone that's here today, let's go forward and bring the change, both for ADeC and secure our future as being the youngsters of South Africa. We have no voice, but today we're standing here to say, you know what? We've got the opportunity, let's bring it on. Let's go into City Hall with our blue t-shirts on and say enough is enough. And here comes ADeC with a whole lot of new vision, change, and accountability, reliability, and transparency. ADeC has done work transparency. Nothing is hidden from the community. The community has full control of ADeC. No political party, no community activist movement in South Africa that has the people that's got the power over the party. And today, being here today and having the blessings of Guruji and people of the ashram to say thank you for allowing us to come here today and to bless us and let us go forward and bring the change. Siya phambili, ADeC siya phambili. Thank you.